Greg Tepper, Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com here at the THSCA Coaching School and Convention in San Antonio with an old friend. We go back a long way now.
I'm only 45, man. Don't call me old.
It's Colby Carthel, the head coach of your Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks. How's life in Nacogdoches?
It's like it is anywhere in Texas. It's hot and dry right now. Even in East Texas, we haven't got much rain, but it's football season's nearing, so there's some excitement and anticipation around the Piney Woods.
Well, and there's excitement and anticipation for good reason. What you guys got cooked. Obviously, last year, 8-4, 6-2 in the WAC, and a real strong step forward for you guys. Now that some time has elapsed and you've been able to take a step back, how do you assess what you guys were able to do last year?
I thought it was a really good year. Our motto was, we felt like we had a good year in 2020 when we played all the FBS schools, went 6-4. But we wanted to go from good to great, and that was kind of our motto. And to be able to, finish up 8-4, made the FCS playoffs first time in well over a decade. The 4 games we lost were a grand total of 11 points. One to that team north of Houston, and then had it first and goal against the Red Raiders up in Lubbock, and weren't able to punch it in, and then got beaten overtime there in the playoffs. So it was a really we felt like a great year, and it was the next step we needed to take as a program. But there's some meat left on that bone, and for the first time we're kind of bringing into the season a senior-laden team. We've got some lofty expectations.
You just reminded me because my brother is a tech grad, and I told him, I was like, you guys got Stephen F. Austin. I'm like, you don't want to. Don't mess around with them. Oh. And then he was like, "Well, tell me about them." I'm like, "Well, they have a crazy person for a head coach.
Yes,
and they're going to throw everything at you, and they got nothing to lose." And what I appreciate about the way your guys play, you hear it a lot. Like coaches, like teams take on the personality of their coach. I feel like there is maybe no team in America that takes on the personality of their coach like Stephen F. Austin Lumberjack. You guys play hair on fire, wild football, and it's fun to watch.
Well, they have a good time, and life's too short to take it too serious. And so, we went up there. We didn't go up there to bowl, and went for it on fourth, I think, 8 times that night. Got it 5 times, and like I say, had a chance to win it there at the end and just didn't get it done. But it gave our team a lot of confidence going in the rest of the season.
As a neutral, that game ruled. That's just me.
Yep.
Okay. Now you mentioned the step forward, and you mentioned the 2020 season. 2020, you guys went rogue.
Yep.
You guys put together an outlaw schedule, basically.
Yes, sir.
And put together. I remember we talked about this last year. Now that we're moved, do you feel like that? I have to imagine you feel like that was still the right move.
I do. Just with the complete turnover and rebuild that we had to do starting in 19. When we inherited a major infractions case, the NCAA, and we were starting from ground zero. It was just really important for us and our players and our program to just stay on schedule. We were able to play 10 games. Those guys were able to gain some maturity and play in big ball games. Playing big. Got to play in the Liberty Bowl and here in the Alamo Dome and Sun Bowl and so some great experiences there and grew as a team. Maturity on and off the field, and then staying scheduled with an off season. And you're starting to see us now. Our guys, they don't back down from anybody, and they're as good pound for pound as anybody in the country. And so I think that gives us confidence as we're now reaching into year 4, and we're taking the field this fall with close to 30 seniors. We've got nearly 100 starts up front with our offensive line, and a lot of guys that have played, legitimate, a lot of football over the past 3 years. They've got that experience now, and wouldn't have had that had we not played or lost the off season and tried to play a shortened spring. So everybody during the pandemic did what was right for them, and we felt it was right to play in the fall, and I think it's proven to be true.
Now, there's a lot going on with your team going into 2022. This is, I don't know if you've seen Dave Campbell's Texas Football. We think you're going to win the WAC. We think that you guys are the team to beat. I know there's some fans of other teams who may beg to differ, but
right.
One of the things you mentioned, the 30 seniors. It is pretty remarkable the retention you've been able to have. In the age of the transfer portal, the amount of retention you've been able to have. 30 seniors for a good FCS team is kind of insane to have that many guys. But obviously, that goes back to the buy-in, right?
It does, just the culture you have in your locker room, and that's something that we work and we're proud of. It's been since day one. Did the same thing at Texas A&M Commerce, and it's just treat kids right, pour into them, love on them, and that's what a lot of these guys in the portal are looking for.
Yep.
And it is tough at our level because tampering is galore. I mean, the NCAA just turns a blind eye to all the tampering that goes on. It's ridiculous. I could show you some direct messages from all our players, and it'd make you want to puke. But it goes on, but our kids are still here. And, we've lost 4 kids in the portal since the thing opened. And, 3 of those guys went to play with former coaches that moved on. And the 4th one was a graduate transfer, and that's a kid that came, got his degree, did it right. Once you get your degree and you got a chance, everybody's got this extra COVID year. I don't blame a kid anywhere in the country to go and do that. And so, but to see our underclassmen that are just so talented and got some guys that are going to play on Sundays, to see them stick it through and get their degree. And, like I say, we want to put a ring on their hand and a degree in the other, and then let them go on NFL or, somewhere else after that. But really, really proud of our locker room, our leaders on this team, and the coaches that have poured into them. So it's exciting.
Well, and you guys, it showed up not just on the field but in the recruiting world too. The recruiting has been really good, and I'll tell you, especially, I know you're a guy who likes to win in the trenches. My man, you got some war daddies in this class. I mean, where the recruiting class that you guys were able to pull in 2022 was really, really impressive.
We've always, there's 2 kind of coaches. Those have been fired and those are going to get fired. And I've never, read an interview of a coach that got fired that said, I recruited too many offensive and defensive linemen. That's just, I've never heard that been said. Yeah. So, we put a lot of emphasis up front and with resources in our staff and resources in recruiting and have built it from the ground up. I've coached college football for 23 years, all in the great state of Texas. Got some great relationships with everybody in this convention. We've been in these high schools now for 23 years. And 10 years as a head coach, we've signed over 400 kids out of this state. And they've not all been great players. They've not all gone to the NFL, but they've all been taken care of and been through a program that I think built them up to be successful in life. And several guys have walked away with rings on their fingers as well, and that's a byproduct of hard work. But, I'm still in this business. I mean, there's a lot of change going on. Everybody wants to get ticked off about it and this, that, and the other. You just got to change and adapt. And as I've told everybody, we're not changing. We're going to continue, as I said a minute ago, pour into kids, love on kids, treat them right. And if that's not still a recipe for success, then I'll go farm.
You going into 2022, you guys are going to have the ability to put one of the most dynamic players in the state of Texas on. A couple of them, actually, if you want to get into Trey Self too. But I'm talking about Xavier Gibson. The numbers are astounding. The film is astounding. As the guy who sees him every day in practice and in the locker room, what is it from your perspective that sets him apart?
Just who he is as a person. I mean, he's one of those special, once or twice in a career you get a coach. I compare him to Daniel Manning, who we had at Abilene Christian, first pick in the draft, Chicago Bears, and as fantastic as Danielle was, he was an even better person. Xavier's the same way. He's going to graduate this year and get his degree, and where he's come from and what he's accomplished in life, it just, those are the kind of guys they write Disney movies about. And I think he will have a chance to have a big year this year, and then, probably go punch his ticket and play on Sundays, and no one's going to be a bigger fan than myself because he's earned it, and just by doing things right day in, day out, on and off the field.
Your offense is going to get a lot of headlines. You bring back Trey, you bring back Xavier Gibson, but am I wrong in thinking that this defense may be even better than the offense? I mean, I look up and down your depth chart on the defensive side, and I think you guys got a chance to be really special defensively. We
do. We return. We did lose some guys, there from last season that had a lot of snaps, but we've still got some really strong players. Brevin Randall, our middle linebacker, he's got a chance to be Conference Player of the Year. We've got 2 all-conference safeties. Our defensive ends are 2 of the very best in the country. B.J. Thompson, he's an 11-foot broad jumper. He'll play on Sundays for a long, long time. So they are very, very talented. We finished the year last year, top 20 in both. I think we were 17th in the country on defense and 15th on offense. So we play team football out there in the Piney Woods and just got through speaking here on special teams. And so our team knows, our coaches know, they're bought into team football. And I think we've got a great staff put together and some great players and some lofty goals. So we're really excited to get cranked up.
So finally, you mentioned the team north of Houston. The Battle of the Piney Woods, and you and Sam. I don't know if you heard, but they're on the move. They're going to be their landscape is changing.
You think they're running from us?
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, no, they're doing what's best for Sam Houston. They're moving up, and I'm excited for them.
And this is going to be the last for a while. It sounds like this is it. Does that make it even more important to hand them a parting gift?
You know, for all the alums out there, yes. You know, for our program and our staff and more importantly our players, you know, it's an important game for us to win because we are eligible for the playoffs. We've got goals to accomplish this year. Sam Houston isn't eligible as a transition team. They don't have a chance for the postseason. So, you know, we play 3 FBS opponents this year and then 7 FCS opponents. So we've got 10 games that really matter in terms of the playoff picture. And so if we were able to pull off a victory in that Battle of the Piney Woods or the Kickoff Classic, and we play week 0 against Jacksonville State on ESPN 1. I've played my whole career on ESPN the Ocho. We're finally on 1, you know.
You made it.
We made it. So August 27th, you know, tune in, Greg. You're going to see the Lumberjacks on national TV go against Rich Rod. You know, I've never met the guy. But anyway, back to Piney Woods. This is a big one. You know, it'll be a great crowd again. I've got to play them twice and coach in that game twice. And we've had the lead in the fourth quarter in both games, in 19 and then in 21, and we've not been able to finish. And, you know, back to last year, the 4 games we lost by 11 points, you know, we didn't finish those games. And that's not on defense. That's as a team we didn't finish. And so that's kind of our motto this year is just to finish, you know. And if we do that week in, week out, finish practice, finish weeks, finish games, you know, I think we got a chance to have a really special year.
Colby Carthel head coach Stephen F. Austin, Lumberjacks. Coach, appreciate your time and best of luck, my friend.
Always good to see you. Axel.